Hi, everyone. Recently, I got the opportunity to interview two amazing police officers, part of our Maryland Law Enforcement Torch Run. Chief John Nesky of the Chevy Chase Village Police Department and uh, Corporal Neshawn Jubilee, part of the Ocean City Police Department. Both of them got to go to the 2025 Special Olympics World Summer Games, part of the final leg of the Law Enforcement Torch Run in Torino, Italy. Let's take a look and see what their amazing adventure was like. I know your names, and but can you first tell me your names and what you do?
So my name's Neshawn Jubilee. I'm a corporal with the Ocean City, Maryland Police. I've been working there now for about 13 years, and I'm currently assigned to the patrol division.
And I'm John Nesky. I am Chief of Police for the Chevy Chase Village Police Department. Been here about a year and a half. I retired as chief from the Bowie Police Department, and I'm also state director for the Law Enforcement Torch Run in Maryland.
How did you get started with the torch run?
So I started, of course, as most people start. I got scruffed by the neck in the academy and said, "You're buying this shirt, and you're running this run." So I did. Didn't really put anything together with it too strongly as to the connection between athletes and law enforcement. Eventually, I got a little more involved. I went to a competition. The turning point for me was when I went to an international conference in Orlando, and that's when I saw the whole picture kind of come together of the just the enormous impact that Special Olympics has, not on just the athletes, but on the officers and the families of the athletes. And I've been hooked ever since.
Very similar, actually. So I started when I got hired as a police officer. I did the torch run for a number of years, but never really knew kind of what I was doing or what I was getting myself into. But that was awesome, the involvement. So it wasn't until about 2019 or 2018, I guess I should say, when I did the torch run that year. And we kind of had more involvement from athletes and things along that line that came out and participated in the run. So that particular year, I distinctly remember some of the athletes that participated. They came over to the police cars. They wanted to get inside the car, play with the lights and things like that. And that's kind of what grabbed me initially for Special Olympics. Up until that point, I really didn't know what we were doing or what we were exactly supporting, but it was kind of the athletes that drew me in at that point. And then I had the opportunity to go to an international conference in 2018 to Las Vegas, and that's kind of like John said. That's when I was able to see the big picture, just hear from some of the speakers there, some of the athletes that were there, just the interaction. It really kind of all clicked at that point, and that was kind of my aha moment, I should say. But it's been absolutely amazing since. So now I'm the coordinator for Special Olympics for the Lower Shore. I've been that ever since then.
So, how did all your involvement get you to be selected to go to the final leg of the law enforcement torch run?
So I've been involved now since I got, like I said, as a coordinator since 2019 for the Lower Shore, and I like to say I've contributed to a lot of the success here on the Lower Shore, fundraising and just kind of raising awareness and just kind of building up the Special Olympics community here and the awareness and involvement and things on that level. So I like to think that a lot of that contributed to my selection as a final leg, which was absolutely amazing and humbling to say the least. But yeah, it's been a cool journey to see it grow on the Lower Shore and the different activities and the involvement from the different schools and law enforcement agencies and things along that line.
So I can piggyback on him because I helped select him for the final leg. So it was definitely his commitment and his engagement, not just on the shore, but across the state, traveling to help with the plunge, traveling to winter games, and just his overall commitment and willingness to do whatever was needed and help out. That made him an easy choice to be on the final leg. Mine was started back in. I was fortunate enough to be selected to run in Abu Dhabi in 19 And then I had the opportunity to be a team leader in Orlando in 22. And I figured my final legging was done, but I was asked to be a team leader for the Italy final leg, and gotta say it was my favorite one out of all three. The uh, definitely the favorite, and not just because Neshawn was there.
Tell me a little bit how you first were selected, and how did you find out, and what was your preparation like?
I found out I got a call from Mark Percorkel, the captain. He called me up. He bumped into me at conference and, hey, remind me to talk to you about something. And I was kind of hoping that's what it was, but you never know. So he gave me a call and asked me if I wanted to be a team leader. The way the team leaders usually work is they try to rotate. So you'll have team leaders that were runners that have never been team leaders before, balanced with people who have been team leaders before. So they needed a little more experienced team leaders to round out the group. So I was very fortunate and honored to be selected. The preparation mostly consisted of me not putting so many things in my mouth and started to do a lot of running. So I dropped probably about good 20 pounds to get ready for it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember actually how did you call me, John?
I think I did.
Yeah,
But you've got a little more of a backstory because you were selected way before you actually went.
Yeah. So this particular time around, yeah, John, you called me and said, hey, we have a final leg coming up, and you've been selected. So that's how I got selected for that. This go around. My preparation basically. So I'm not really a big runner, so that was new to me. I do like going to the gym, lifting and things like that, but running is certainly not something I do on the daily. So my preparation consisted of doing that, starting to run a little more consistently, and my current assignment working in the station allowed me to go to the gym, more often, I guess. So sometimes I go twice a night and just kind of run on the treadmill, get myself in a routine and a rhythm. Even when we were in Deep Creek at Dunk, I took time to go to the state police barrack and just make sure I was, staying running and things like that. So, and I did drop a few pounds on the way, so that was good. So, but that was a big preparation, just kind of getting in the routine. And I downloaded some running apps, bought 3 pairs of shoes that I finally found one that worked. Um, and yeah, so that's what I did. That was
Yeah,
scary when I got all those
yeah,
emails saying, "Hey, be prepared to run, 2, 3,
yeah,
4 miles a day, sometimes multiple times a day." I was like, "Whoa."
yeah. Before you guys went to the final league, what kind of things did you do to prepare you for the countries that you were visiting?
So basically, I've never actually traveled, I guess, overseas, you could say. So a lot of my preparation just consisted of making sure I had my passport and things along those lines to just be prepared to travel. And then I've never been on a plane that long either, so had to
Yeah.
make sure I was prepared for that. And it didn't help that I actually got the stomach bug literally right before I left at 2 a.m. that morning of my flight was that evening. But I got the the stomach bug,
Oh,
so I
geez.
flew just on the tail end of that. But anyway, so yeah, I did a lot of preparation, just getting ready for travel in general, just being overseas for a while and trying to get my phone service and all those things kind of squared away. That was kind of the main stuff, preparation wise.
So
So that's it.
mine was a little more because I, as a team leader, I had to make sure that all my team had all their stuff and make sure that we had our Zoom meetings and making sure that we were all prepped and everybody knew their assignments and you start to build little cohesion in your team. Again, a
Okay.
lot of Zoom meetings, getting make sure the team had all their paperwork and everything set. As far as prep for the countries, I just did a little research, looked at what the Piedmont region was and some of the highlights. But other than that, not a lot of prepping because you know you don't have a lot to say. You go where they tell you to go.
Yep.
So you just try to get a little bit of lay of the land. But other than that, you just kind of go with the flow.
I guess I should say too. I did talk to some other final leggers that went from Maryland just to kind of get their experiences and kind of what it was like. And they told me that yeah, you're going to be expected to run a lot, but a lot of it's a shuffle run, so that kind of put me at ease and stuff too. So But yeah, so I spoke to some other people just to kind of get their perspective on it and what I need to do compared to.
How long were your flights when you got while you were on there?
Mine had a 9 hour, and then a 3 hour, and just kind of reverse them coming back. And I did cheat a little bit on the way home because I upgraded to first class on the way, business class on the way home. Uh, left Neshawn in the back of the plane, but it
Oh
was one
yeah.
of those things that wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. So and my flight got canceled, so I had a little bit of a credit from there. So I just went for it, and I will say it was nice. I probably won't ever do it again, but it was nice.
I'll send you a picture, Adam, that I took so you can include that in your
That's awesome.
documentation. No, my flights are just about the same, actually. I think it was about 9 or 10 or something going over, and then a couple hours there. It was 2 flights, so 9 and then like 2 or 3 hours. And on the way back, John and I flew together, so it was very similar. But yeah, our flights got canceled there on like kind of last minute coming home, so that was quite the adventure trying to figure that out.
What was it like to meet some of the other officers from around the U.S. and around the world when you got to your location?
It was awesome. I mean, once we got off the plane, we were greeted by some of the logistic team members at the airport. He kind of guided us and directed us to the hotel, and then once we started checking in, I mean, we immediately started meeting people. But I actually met some people at the airport as well. One of the team members that was kind of on the same flights too. But I mean, it was just an immediate connection as soon as they saw the final leg gear or the little tags we had on our bag and stuff like that. I mean, it was just an immediate connection, which was just incredible. Guys who never met each other, guys and gals who never met each other, to come together for a week or 2 weeks, whatever it was. Who shared the same interests and same purpose and same values. It was incredible, and we still talk to some of those guys. At least I do, today, and I think I will forever. I can't wait to see them again for other conferences and things like that. So it's just really cool.
And Adam, you know that how that feels from your experience, right? It's
Yep.
instant family, right? And
Yep.
I actually went a little earlier, and I did the Greece and Rome, and then to Turin, and again, it's just instant bonding, like you've known each other forever. You get comfortable with each other very, very, very quickly. And it's just being with like-minded people. It's like being with people that, as Neshawn said, share your values, share your, even your temperament, right? Because you know that we are under a lot of stress sometimes. We're getting moved, we're getting plans are changing constantly. And out of the 3 that I've done, this group came together much faster and were much more solid. And you never saw anybody cross with anybody really. Everybody was on the same, page and having the same experience. So it's just that doesn't happen anywhere.
Yeah, and Adam, I'll add too. We had a couple officers, or an officer rather, that experienced some tragedy in their agency where they lost a couple officers just shortly before the final leg experience, and he was on the fence about whether he should go or not, and his department encouraged him to go because of that family, because that's what those officers would have wanted, and I think that just speaks volume to the final leg and the connection, the bond that we all share, once you do these types of things. And quickly our motto for the week became one LATR, one family, which just kind of really sums all that up, everything we just said. So, but no, it was absolutely amazing.
You met the athletes that were on your teams. How quickly did you get to know them?
Again, almost instantaneous. And it didn't even matter that, one athlete spoke very little English. He only spoke Italian. But man, he just smile, sit next to you, and you'd find a way to communicate with him. And he just go around hugging and just happy. We instant family, right? And much the same when you went, Adam, that everybody just kind of gravitates towards the athletes naturally. and you're not a Maryland athlete. You're a flannel leg athlete, and you
Yep.
belong to everybody now, right? You're
Yep.
everybody's brother.
Um, yeah, absolutely. What were your first couple of days like when you got to your destinations?
For me, so I got there just in time for the final leg portion. I didn't go early for anything, so and my first day consisted of trying to recoup
Yep.
all the fluids that left my body when I was sick. So I just kind of hung out, and I stayed up because I wanted to get myself on the time schedule there. Um, for the couple weeks that I was there. So anyway, so the first day we just kind of got checked in and got settled, met everybody, kind of got our gear that we were missing, things like that. Got checked in, got our rooms. I met my roommate, which was a Tennessee Chief from one he just retired. He was an awesome guy. First thing he said to me when I walked in the room was like, "About time you get here." And I never even met the guy, so that was just kind of the instant bond we met with him or got with him. But yeah, just kind of got settled in that first day, and then the next day, I'm drawing a blank here. John, help me out a little bit. The next day, did we have another down day before we got running on
We
Saturday?
actually, it's one of the weirdest things that never really happened. We had a whole down day to get people
That's right. Yep, we had a
acclimated
whole down day.
and together,
Yep,
and everybody just kind of went sightseeing.
that's right. Yep. So that next day, we just kind of walked around the general area. I do remember that now. Walked around the general area, just kind of get the layout of where we were, and in Turin. Kind of met some other team members, linked up, had a meeting, just to kind of get to know each other a little more. We've been talking through WhatsApp. Obviously, as you know, Adam, we've talked through WhatsApp for months leading up to it, and then finally you meet everybody. So just kind of did that, exchanged a few things. Yeah, just kind of met everybody and kind of got acclimated those first couple of days before we started running that third day.
It's funny because I landed in Athens about 4 or 5, actually more like 6 o'clock at night. Finally make it to get off the plane. It's never a good thing when you're in an international airport and you hear your name being called over the intercom.
Oh man.
Oh, that's not good. So of course my luggage, because I was delayed at coming out of Baltimore, so I didn't make my connection. So my bag got lost, and it wasn't going to be there until about 3 o'clock in the morning. So I got to the hotel about 7:30, walked around, found something to eat, took a bit of a nap, got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go back to the airport to get my luggage because we were hopping a plane the next day to go to Rome. So there was no way that they could have brought my luggage to me. And so I had to take another taxi over to the airport to grab my bag, and then come back and then be ready for the festivities with the flame lighting. So we did the flame lighting, did a little run, went to the Italian embassy, then right after that hopped on a train to Rome. I'm sorry, a plane to Rome, and then had the blessing, and then hopped a train to Turin the next day. So we were kind of jumping a little bit on the front side.
So after the all that began, uh, you guys said that you went to your actual locations to start running. Where was that again?
Oh, and in Turin. So
In Turin, yeah.
I don't remember where we first started. The very first run was up in the mountains though,
Oh, cool.
and that's when it was the only time it snowed on us was that first day. So
Well,
it was, we were in the heavy, big old parkas, the puffy coats and the hats,
The
and
only
it
time
was
before that,
beautiful, wasn't it? Gorgeous.
yeah, it was. It was very beautiful. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Some of those pictures and stuff that we took were awesome. But
what was your favorite places that you got to run to while you were doing it?
I think my favorite run was around the lake. Drawing a blank on the name. Was it Lake Maggio? Is that what it is? I think it was, John. I can get you the exact name, but it was a run around the lake. I mean, it was just beautiful scenery, kind of getting, windy roads, kind of getting up to where we were going, and then we ran around this big lake. And it was a beautiful day. I remember it was probably one of the nicer days of the whole week. And I feel like there was the most people that were out on the streets. There were just so many people that were just lining those streets that day, and the energy was just. I just felt like it was a little bit different that day. And it was towards the end of our final leg journey, so we had already built up a lot of energy anyway. but I feel like this particular run, there were just so many people that were out there, and then to the ceremony, there was a lot of people and stuff, and that was one of my favorite days. Just beautiful weather, beautiful scenery, just a lot of people that were out and about.
Yeah, that was figured it out because it was a nice pace. That was a good pace. It was a nice,
Oh yeah.
comfortable pace. We didn't accordion at all. It was just one continuous run, and that was my favorite too. Beautiful scenery. It was a beautiful day. Beautiful, nice, easy 2 miler. It was nice.
I think
So,
that happened to be one of our longest runs too, which you didn't really
Yeah,
realize until you got to the end. But it was like you said, the pace and the weather, I think, and just the energy all together just made it just, I don't know, you didn't really realize how far you were running or what you were doing until you got to the end.
because there was none of that jogging in place or walking, run, walk, run. It
Right.
was just one smooth
Yeah.
run.
while you were there, did you get to eat any good food, and what was your favorite?
I did have a pizza. It was like a meat pizza that they had. I don't remember what it was called exactly, but it was at one of the local places. Um, and yeah, I just remember taking a bite into that, and it was a pretty big pizza, but between two of us, we pretty much finished that whole thing. But you didn't really feel full afterwards. I mean, you ate the thing, and you felt satisfied, and you were good. It wasn't filled with a lot of crap, and it was good. But the pizza was probably my favorite there, and it just kind of.
Once the big run was over, came the day of the opening ceremonies. What was all that like?
Chaos. And you know what it is. It's chaos. You go to rehearsal and you sit there and you watch things, and they go, "Okay, everybody, come down here," and then they don't know what to do with you. You stand there. No, wait, over here, and they put you in a bunch of lines, and they go, "Remember where you were." What? And so then
Yeah.
you'll get a number when you get to your spot. And there's no numbers on the floor. We ran out of numbers, so some people didn't have a number. So we're trying to get landmarks and trying to figure out, because you don't want to look stupid, and you walk out
Yeah.
there on TV and stuff, and you're going left when you should be going right, or you're looking around confused. So, but we made it work, yeah. But it's during the ceremony, it's just you're hyper focused on where you are and what you're supposed to be doing. You're not really taking in the grandeur of everything till later. But I almost got my butt burned by one of the pyrotechnics I was standing because I think Neshawn, you and I were pretty close to each other.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was pretty chaotic, and I went a little bit early. There were a few of us that were selected to go, um, kind of stand in certain spots based on our fundraising amounts that we raised and stuff like that. So I was one of those select few. So we went early, and it was probably even more chaotic, then because people weren't ready for us. But once the ceremony kicked off, I mean, and everybody came through, and everybody's clapping and cheering. Just absolutely incredible to see all the delegations and stuff come through. It's pretty awesome.
What did it mean to be part of the opening ceremonies itself?
It was humbling. I mean, it was an honor. I was overwhelmed with joy. I think it really hit me when that first flame comes past you, when the athlete has that flame and they walk past you and you render that first salute. Um, like it honestly brought a tear to my eye. You couldn't really see it, but it was like it really set in there when that athlete came, that first one there, and then they lift that flame up next to you and pass it on. That's really when it kind of set in there, like why we were there and why we did what we did. The flame had safely arrived and was lit. And it was just incredible, just very humbling.
the other piece of that was prior to us lining up, the families of athletes from all across the world coming up and wanting just to say thanks or a picture. Just you realize how much we meant to them, and
Right.
not just how much they mean to us, but it was very humbling. Like I said, they track you down and want a picture and be so excited to have their pictures taken with us, and so grateful for the small things that we're doing compared to what they're doing.
When you were lined up on the stage, seeing the torch go by you, how did that make you feel?
It proud, moved, and humbled all at the same time. just the whole gambit of emotions of how lucky am I to be here, and how fortunate am I to be part of such a movement, and such a force for good and happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I echo exactly what John said. I kind of already answered it, but yeah, it's just I was just humbled and honored, and just a lot of joy and emotion kind of set in initially. Just blessed, really, blessed to be there, and thankful for the opportunity, and just definitely a pinnacle of my law enforcement career. Um, Anything I've ever done, really. It's just really a pinnacle.
When you were finally done and were back on the plane, how did you just feel overall?
And I did a lot of thinking and reflecting. Wrote some things down after that, because really up until that point, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to really, gather your thoughts or really write stuff down. So I don't really journal, but I do take notes on certain things. So I just had a lot of time to reflect, and yeah, I was just overwhelmed with joy. I was, happy to be going home, obviously, to my family, but sad at the same time to leave everybody that we had just met, made those connections with. Um,
There's a and Adam as well. There's a withdrawal period.
Mm-hmm.
It's much like after conference, right? Because it's adrenaline, 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 adrenaline. They're just quiet, and you're like, "Where is everybody?" Right? And
Mm-hmm.
that was the biggest thing. Is nobody. It's that letdown after you're done, and you're used to seeing these people, and being around this positive energy, being surrounded by positive energy all day long. Then you get back into the real world, you're like, these guys suck, because because they're people are grouchy, or they're worried about other things. Versus we were in a little pocket of happiness for
yep,
2 weeks, and once that
yep.
bubble pops, there's some adjusting you have to do.
Sad I had to go back to work.
When all things were done, what do you take away from this experience?
The biggest takeaway for me is that, no matter where you're from, what you do or what agency you work for, it's one purpose, one mission. We're one family, and we all do the same thing. We're all in it for the same reason, and it's all about the athletes. You guys are special to us, and you always will be. We're thankful for the opportunities to connect and be with you all as athletes. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that, that bond and that family is something that we'll always have no matter where you go. And it's really cool to see because, I wear this Final Leg shirt, or the shirts we have other places, and people come up to you, Final Leg, what is that? And then you start talking about it, and, oh, well, I know somebody that has done that before, or somebody that's been involved in, Special Olympics, and just the conversations and things, So the biggest takeaway is that we're just one family, one LTR, no matter where we go.
And that sums it up pretty nicely. And if you want to be a pessimistic cop, then the takeaway is the world ain't so bad, right? There's a lot of good in the world, and there's a lot of good people, and it's nice to be associated with those good people, and with the athletes and the families, and the officers who are striving to make the world a better place.
Yep.
What would you say to a future officer that might be uh, get the lucky chance to go to the final leg?
Enjoy every minute of it, soak it in. Don't let anything distract you. Don't let the changing schedules and constant movement distract you. Be in the moment whenever you can. Enjoy your time, and just grasp the experience. And there's a saying that I never understood until I was on the final leg, and the saying is, it's a final leg thing you wouldn't understand. And until you go on the final leg, you don't know what the hell that means. But once you're there, it's like you can describe moments, but you can't describe the experience in its entirety. You have to be there and be in it to fully grasp what exactly it is.
Yep, and that's perfect. I would just say the same. Be engaged, what came to my mind is just because there's so many things that you're doing. You're so busy, like John said, the schedule, and Adam, the schedule is forever changing, and things get canceled, things get moved, and often you might get frustrated because you got to be there earlier or later, or don't get any sleep or whatever. But there are just so many moments, that just pop out and happen. So just being engaged, is my biggest thing, and just take advantage of those opportunities. Because you only experience your first final leg once. So for me, that's what I kept thinking in my head. Like, this is my first final leg. What can I get out of this? What am I going to grasp today?
Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I want to thank both of you for taking your time to talk about your experience and with me. That was really cool.
We appreciate the invite, and we look forward to seeing you coming up in a couple weekends.